martial arts, myself included. I still remember the time when I was sitting in a bar and I was watching this guy win the belt, and I was like, man, someday I want to be there. And he really helped me push myself to get to the UFC. And let's get him up here, guys. Let's hear it for Mr. Carlos Newton.
Alright, this is I'd like to thank everyone again for coming out. Thanks for that very gracious introduction there, Jeff. This for me is a pretty amazing day. You know, I started competing when I was 18. Yeah, I started martial arts when I was 4 years old, and I do remember those days, Jeff, in the Samurai Club. I remember rollerblading in the class and guys having their moms drop them off, and at the end of the class they'd choose me as their opponent for the end of the day match. And I remember thinking to myself, you ain't gonna beat me. I rollerbladed here. Your mom drove you. And you know, all those days, all those evenings added up to that, you know, becoming the UFC champion. But it was a long road, and for me, it wasn't the title of winning UFC or anything. For me, was the goal. The goal for me was to really be the best person I could be the best athlete, be the best martial artist. I was one of those kids that grew up on Saturday noon Kung Fu channel type of thing, and that's pretty much where I first took my first lessons. And you know, for me, martial arts has given me so much. It's given me everything. Because of martial arts, I see a very bright future for myself after fighting. And before fighting, I always wondered what that future was like. And I chose martial arts as a way to discover that. And for me, it's just opened my mind in so many ways. I've been able to travel around the world, meet so many different people, meet tremendous, you know, cultures and experiences along the way. But one of the greatest things that I've always missed was I've always come back home and realized Toronto is the greatest place. I've always known that from the first time. And the only thing now that's left to do is be able to fight. I would tell guys, you know, people always ask me, oh, where's the sport going? And I remember being asked that question 12 years ago. I said, this sport's going right to the top. This is really just the first time in human history, probably, it's been off the radar. And it is the first Olympic sport, pancration. And, you know, I always said there's only two sports in the Olympics that count, running and fighting. All right? If you can't fight, you gotta run. So, you know, for me, being able to fight here in Ontario, it will be a great opportunity, not just for myself, but for everyone, for us as a community, to get together. Again, you know, really raise, you know, the guys who are really young in the sport and show them the way for they themselves can discover their full potential. Because for us, that's what life is about. You know, and being our best. We all want to, you know, when we're old, when we're young, we all want to feel our best and one day realize and see our best. You know, for athletes to be able to train here and gain and learn from one another's experience is just going to make, I guess, Canadians in general, but not just Canadians, but the gang here in Ontario, that much better fighters on the scene. You know, we already put out some of the best fighters in the world. Per capita, we probably are the best. And I would say, you know, having martial arts, mixed martial arts legal here in Ontario will just raise that even higher. They'll never catch us. Vancouver will be like a good dream by the end of the time when we're done. And, you know, for me, one of the things I always told guys, you know, coming up in the sport, but also say to us here, you know, we get really anxious, you know, how much we think we can do and so forth. But I remember one time talking to another fighter who was training in the same gym as me. I was around 17 years old, and he held the world title for 11 years. And I walked up to him and I said, Paul, man, I train hard. I go crazy. We all train hard. But you've been champion for 11 years. How do you do that? And he just looked at me, hit the bag, and was like, you know what, Carlos? One thing I would say, and one guy taught me this before this, and I share with all you guys, he told me, everyone always overestimates what they can do in 1 year, and everyone underestimates what they can do in 10. So this is the first step, and we're going to get there. Take care.